who said,
Oh.
how can we infiltrate and partner with local and national government to bring change? Can I just, by the way, say I love the language. Infiltrate and partner with government. That's a brilliant, brilliant concept. Love it. So what do you think, guys?
Well, Sam was going to answer Sam Scharf.
Right.
I wasn't going to answer that.
Sam, yeah.
A response, a question and response. So I'll leave someone else to answer the other Sam's question first.
Okay, well, one thing that the role, supposedly the mayor is about encouraging people to get involved in their community and civic life. So number one, and absolute number one, has got to be always vote.
Yep.
You do not have change unless you get the people you want in Parliament and in the council representing you. Secondly, get involved in local politics and in national politics if that's what your interest is. There is such a massive underrepresentation of people from Black and minority ethnic communities in politics, the same as there is with women. And if we don't stand and don't make our voices heard in that way, then there's no way we will be able to get the people we want making the changes we need in Parliament and in the council. So get involved. Everybody should be able to have an opportunity to, if they wish to stand for Parliament, to stand for local government, to stand for GLA, whatever their interest is.
I understand that, and I think you're absolutely right. My dad always taught me that politics and decisions are always made by the people that turn up. So it's good to turn up. I get that, but what can we as organisations do that support that? Because we're here from very different organisations. We have large PLCs on this conference call. We have pressure groups. We've got charities, we've got social enterprises like ourselves, we've got the people who house and help large portions of our communities here. So how can we all as a collective work together to bring about change? Sarah. I love a person who puts their hands up, by the way. Can I just say?
I'm well trained. I think there's lots of different ways, and some of it you just never know what's going to hit the zeitgeist. So when Marcus Rashford decided to talk about, school meals, he just hit the zeitgeist at exactly the right time. He did exactly the right thing, and he managed to change policy, and that's amazing. And that doesn't happen that often. I would say, in terms of organisations, speaking as one voice is always good. So when I worked at a shelter for a long time, we used to join together with other organisations to do campaigns, because you're more powerful when you stand together. And making as much noise in the media still works with government. The policies get changed when people make a noise, and you hold the evidence. You've got the stories, you've got the people, you've got the face of the problem that isn't just 300,000 people are living in this accommodation or that accommodation. You've got Jim who's really struggling, and here's his story, and that's incredibly valuable because that speaks to people in a human way. So there's lots of things you can do, I think.
Wow. Sorry, Sam.
Just to get a couple build on that, I think we've got to show that we can change. I think we work in pocket. I'm working in a big organisation, but we've got to demonstrate change is possible and what it looks and feels like. I talked about the paralysis and invisibility earlier. We've got to give confidence to everybody that's real, and then support them in that. And I think it was a question to back to Caroline on this debate of sort of against and for, is actually what we have seen in the pandemic is how easy it is to change. Yeah. We're big and small. We have 1,200 staff. They now all work from home. That happened in 2 weeks. We have stopped our carbon and travel has gone to zero. These things that last week or last year or 6 months ago just weren't possible. for all of the bureaucracy, all of the talk, all of the people like me that rattle on about this every single day and can't make an effect change, all of a sudden we just did it. And I just wonder how do we encapsulate the fact that all of a sudden we can do it? And I feel empowered because now in my organization, in my community, when that one person, there's always one person that goes, oh, you can't do it because actually I can say that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because we can do incredible things.
Yeah. If we put our minds to it, that's right.
If we put our mind to it, and I hope, I don't know how you would bottle that and how you take that to Extinction Rebellion and Black Lives Matters, though I do see it. I think that lived voice is now able to say it can happen, we can change. You know, Sarah, your example of Marcus Rashford, like it is that simple actually. So I didn't want to come as a sort of a negative, come across like we just have to be angry and scream. I guess I put a question mark at the back of that statement to see what anyone's thoughts are on how you bottle it.
I think for us and our organisation, it's really exciting because we bottle it through business. You know, some of the stuff that you guys have seen through Orbit and Amy, and I think bringing different people together really. So through commerce, because commerce speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's about growing our economy. If we can grow our economy with a fantastic, diverse workforce. And I love your point on change, Sam, because I think you're spot on. Things can happen so quickly. We've already demonstrated that. You know, we're trickling along as a stationary organisation. Overnight, COVID hits, and we're pulling on different supply chains, and that happens so quickly. And I think it's really exciting, and I think we have to remember that when it hit, we changed. We've continued to change and evolve. And now we must take all of those positive stories. You know, we all have links here. You know, the work that we've done with Seb at Beam, with some of our customers online now, and politically, you know, what we're doing, our movement here, and the work that we're doing in Croydon. It's really exciting. But I think business talks, business speaks volume, and I think we need to push that.
I have to say,
Maddie has a point. Yeah.
I just have to say, just in addition to that, you know, I was an environmental campaigner for 30 years, and nobody listened to me. I was an academic doing research for 20 years, and very few people read it. And I've been a businessman. I've been a businessman for the last 15 years, and suddenly, as soon as you start putting yourself out there as a social enterprise, people start listening and caring about the problem, the issues you're trying to raise.
I didn't even know you were that old.
Oh, I steal my wife's face cream. It's fantastic. but it is true that I think that if you really want to support minority groups, and it doesn't matter whether that's the homeless minority, it doesn't matter if it's an Asian minority or a black minority or a Catholic minority or a Protestant minority or a Muslim minority, or whatever the minority you want to choose to, your starting point is if you can support their businesses, if you can support their kind of employment. That's where I kind of start with.